Well, hello, everybody. How are you? We are so excited. We are live right now, and God is doing so much in our midst. If you love the power of God, just raise your hands high, except if you're driving. But we just love to celebrate. On Create Talks, we celebrate the love of God. We celebrate what is God doing with creatives around the world, and how can we help you to partner with your dreams. So if you are on, please put your name, where you're from, and any question that you have for Madison Smith. Madison, where are you right now? Tell us.
Woo-hoo! I am in small town Georgia at the moment. And
Come
it
on.
looks like I'm going to have a little guest joining me, if that's okay.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
okay. Hi, how you doing, Matthew?
I'm sorry, I don't get it. Share it with me.
Yeah, Madison has an amazing young, is it older brother or younger?
He is
No,
younger.
no, 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 no. Always.
He likes to call himself the oldest brother, but he's 2.5 years younger than I am.
Oh, come on. But we all know who captures people's heart. It's Matthew, right?
Yes.
I can
Yes.
tell. Yes. Oh my gosh. Well, let's talk a little bit about our story together and Madison making music to awaken America. Like this is what
Yeah.
it's all about, but supernatural. So
Yeah.
share about how we first met. Let's give a little bit of history here.
Yes, so we first met because I invited myself basically to a Jesus house party and a couple of
Come
my
on,
friends.
come on. Yes, you
I
did.
know. We're going to, and they were telling me all about it. And I was like, I have to go to this thing. So I went, and that's where I met you and Kevin and Nico. And honestly, I feel like our relationship was truly just ordained by the Lord. It was
Yes.
just quick and it was easy. It was light. It was peaceful. And immediately, I feel like we became pretty great friends. And in that journey, you've become truly one of my heroes and someone I look up to so much and just glean from so much advice in the way that you live your life. So truly our relationship is one that I just hold with so much love and so much respect of who you are in the Lord.
And I feel the same with you and your heart and your joy and what you carry. Matthew, you have a great younger sister or older sister, whatever you want. But I feel like there's something that happens when we synergize with the love of God. And at these
Mhm.
house fire parties, I would be painting like this eagle painting
Yes.
while we had Madison releasing prophetic songs over people or leading a conga line, right? But
Yes.
people were just like getting blown away by the love of Jesus, and people would get healed. And so
Yes.
and saved. And so there were so many things going on because it wasn't a normal party. It was a party full of the Holy Spirit, which is
Yes.
what we love. And you were so a part of that. And we began to meet, and I began to share with you about like what I felt things were happening and what God was doing in your life. And lo and behold, we're at this little coffee shop slash restaurant. And I looked at her and I go, oh my gosh, Madison, I feel like God's going to give you patriotic songs for America. And she's looking at me like, what? I do worship? No, Theresa kind of thing. But yeah, isn't that right, Matthew? So what was your first impulse? Like when I first gave you that prophetic word, well, tell me how you stewarded that word, what you felt, so that people can
Yeah.
identify with that. Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, honestly, at first I was so taken off guard by that word. And in my mind, I was like, I mean, genuinely, this is what I thought in my mind. I was like, I thought this was going so well. And I don't know if this is true. This is God. And then,
Exactly.
but I knew you so well and I knew your heart and just your intimacy with the Lord. So I walked away from that meeting and I thought, God, I have no clue like what's going to come of this. I've never had a thought like this in my life, but I trust Theresa and I trust you, God. So if this is something you want to do with my life, then go for it. I am yours. I'm an open vessel. I give you my yes. And there's nothing you could ask me to do that I would say no to. And so Honestly, I think that's what stewardship looked like in that moment. It was just giving God my yes. Everything happened so quickly. There wasn't a ton of time to steward the word you gave me because you gave it to me. And then, literally, a couple months later, everything started to take place in my life of kind of releasing, recording, and producing this patriotic anthem that's going to be released hopefully in about 12 weeks right now. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty wild how quick it all turned around after that word.
Oh my gosh, and we'll keep you posted on when that's gonna happen, but I love this word that Bill Johnson gave to a creative conference, a group of people that were together. He said this, he goes, "We have to sing songs that will awaken people 50 years from now or 25
Yeah.
years from now. We're not just singing for today, but we're singing to call people
Yeah.
into their identity, and that's what America needs. America
Yeah.
is going this way, going that way. What do we believe about important subjects like abortion
Yeah.
or what's happening with gender just confusion or what's happening with like where we headed on our borders? I mean, we could go on and on, right? There's
Yeah.
so much turmoil, but what is the true heart of
Yeah.
America that we do not want to see like tainted or
Yeah.
changed in any way? So
Yes.
you started to develop this song and share some lyrics and why it's important to stand up for what we believe when it's becoming, it's like we need to help people to really understand who they are. And so I wanted you to share about that because this is
Yes.
important. So go for it.
Yeah. So, I mean, right out the gate, we start off with a bang. The first verse is, "What we don't fight for, we'll be a slave to. What we don't stand for, we'll surely bow to. What we don't pray for, we'll be asleep to. And what we don't live for, we'll be a grave to." And so immediately the song, it's a call to action. And it's saying the time is now or it's never. And I don't know if you're listening to this and you're a churchgoer or you're someone who listens to the news or you're wondering what kind of state America is falling into. And I think no matter where you stand on that diagram, we know that if we don't do something right now, then our future as American citizens, as a country that is founded under one nation, under God, is truly in some serious concern. And so, out the gate, we are calling people to raise up, to stand up, to fight, and to lift up their voices, which is going to be the answer that we're all searching for as a nation.
Absolutely. And David Pennington, Sue Carpenter, if you have any questions and others joining, let us know. I know, David, you do. I just want to tell us what the chorus is on this song, too, because the chorus is so great. I love the chorus. Share about that, too, on the song.
Yeah, so the chorus is, "It's time to get up and roar. It's time to lift up your voice. It's time to get up and fight." It's truly, this song is a battle cry. It is a battle cry for us to step off of the sidelines. The title of the song is Sidelines. For us to step off of the sidelines and for us to run to the front lines of what God is doing in America, because a lot of people, we think we've been forsaken by God. Well, I can surely say that God is working, He is moving, and He's looking for those who will say, "Here I am, send me. I'll put on my armor and I will embrace this fight and I will do it for the kingdom."
Woo, I
I
love
know, you
it.
can like feel the power of God.
I know. I can feel it really strong. I mean,
Me too.
it's like, I mean, Sean Foyt raised a mighty shout out when COVID hit. Hey, I'm not backing down.
Yes.
We're going to worship. We don't care. We're in the midst of revival. I mean, we cannot bow to the enemy coming
No.
in and telling us what we can and cannot do. We have to have
Yeah.
Americans and we have to have people rise up and say, this is what I believe. This is who we are. And this song so captivates people. It's just such an incredible song. So it's called Sidelines. You can put that in the chat and it should
Yes.
be out. And I'll let you guys know when it comes out. I want everybody to know about that. I think we have some questions here. Let me look here. If you have any questions right now, we'd love to have them right now. Let's just see here. fun.
I'm so excited. This is my first interview with the song, about the song, which is so fitting because the word was so, I mean, the song was birthed from the prophetic word you gave me.
I
So
know.
it's so cool to do the first interview with you.
I know it is. And guess who I have on? And David Pennington want to hear a question from you. This is Karen Cruson. Woo, Karen. Karen knows us really well. Karen is in Create Academy Live and is a good friend of both of ours. Karen says, what battles have you had to overcome to release this song? Ooh, that's a good question. Oh, Lindy Jenkins, welcome too. So tell us what, oh my gosh, I got to hear this.
Well, there have been many battles.
I know there has.
I'm like, where do we even start? Your question is very fitting. Yeah, I think a lot of times when the Lord calls you to something that is so much bigger than yourself, that a lot of times there can be a massive amount of opposition that tries to come against you. And I have definitely witnessed that opposition kind of right out of the gate with this project. And honestly, I don't know. I'm like, where do I go? There's just really been so much. Honestly, I think with this project, I have seen just the enemy try to throw up obstacle after obstacle in seeing it completed. Even to the point where my producer, who is my dream producer, has worked with all of our favorites. We were on the call one day and he said, Madison, I just want you to know when I'm praying about this project, I feel like there is a principality that has come against this. And this is my producer who's saying this now. And I didn't even know he was praying over the project. And he's like, every time I pray, I feel strong opposition and I'm praying against it. And he was discerning that in the spirit. But what was happening in my life is in the time frame of starting this project and then we're going to record it a couple of weeks ago. I mean, one of the big things is I got fired from my job, which has an entire boatload of, things that I had to undergo and that I wish no one had to, but I had to kind of just see some things that not a lot of people get to see that happen behind the church. And so that was part of that opposition. And some of it had to do with I don't know. I want to be careful with what I say because I always want to honor. But let's just say there has been tons of opposition. But what I will boast in is that through that opposition, the Lord was closer to me than I had felt his presence in a very long time. And I would walk out of rooms where I literally could have walked out of the room and decided not to be a Christian anymore because of the things I had seen under the name of Jesus. But when I would walk out of those rooms or out of persecution, I was more sure of the faithfulness of God on this project than I had ever been before. And that's what's so cool when you give your yes to the Lord. It doesn't matter if opposition comes your way. He is in the middle of that storm with you and he will hold you. He will never forsake you. And if he spoke a promise over your life, I don't care what bear or giant or Goliath comes your way, he will fulfill what he spoke. And that's the part I like to boast about as far as all the things I've been through is he never left me. He never forsaked me. And he will do what only he can do. And no tactic of hell will stop the mission that God has put into motion.
Exactly. And sometimes and I want to say this really strongly, guys, sometimes there's a realignment. So if we're walking after the presence of God on a creative project, like music, like whatever is going on in your life, and you see opposition, it's just a religious spirit, or it's just the enemy trying to taunt you. I think of Nehemiah, and he was trying to rebuild the walls, like you're trying to rebuild the walls in America. And what he had to do is he had to hunker down and he had to bring the right tribe around him. And that's what you needed, right, Karen? I mean, come on, the right tribe is around you to support you in what you're doing so that the enemy can't come in any kind of way. So I felt like the Lord was cleaning house in a sense.
Yes. And sometimes you'll be in places, and whether that's in a job or whether it's in relationship, where your wings are clipped. You're in a cage and you don't have the freedom to fly. And sometimes the Lord will just kick you out of that nest to, like you said, Theresa, realign you for his best and his fullness for you and your life and what he has prepared for you. May
Yeah,
feel like a sting, but it'll be one of the best things that ever happened to you, because he needs
absolutely.
you in a position where you can run. And just like the Bible talks about, we have to lay off every weight that hinders that so that we can run fully with the Lord.
Exactly. And it's just like the eagle that I painted here. It's like there's something when the eagle cries a prophetic word, it's like all of heaven aligns into, okay, let's get Madison here, let's get Madison there, let's get her the right producer. Okay, let's get her the right vocal coach. Let's get her the right like timing. Everything is working out for his glory. But sometimes it takes a while of perseverance. I got to say, pray and also have a company of people that you can talk to about that. That's going to help you, and have lots of Matthews in your life, right? Matthew.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
She said people need to have lots of Matthews in their life.
They need you, Matthew. You're special. They need a Matthew in their life. We all do. So, Madison, another question. What would you say to people who have dreams to create and do bigger things, do big things, but it hasn't yet come to be? So you're in that place of, oh my gosh, in 12 weeks, you're going to have a song, potentially two, even in that, right, coming out. But what would you say for people that are experiencing opposition?
Yeah, I would say lean into the Lord like never before. That is, I mean, that's the answer for everything. I know for me, I started dreaming these dreams when I mean, honestly, since I was a little girl. Even in
Yeah.
high school, I would always dream of going to Nashville and recording music. And I mean, now I just turned 29. So in March, that's a long time that I've had to wait before seeing these dreams come to pass. But what is so beautiful about the waiting season is it's truly a preparation season. And if it hasn't happened yet, if God has spoken a word over your life and it hasn't happened yet, then it means that it's not good yet, because he withholds no good thing. So it's our job in that waiting, in that preparation, to lean into him, lean into his presence. And we have a part to play too. Not only do we have a part to put our hand into what he's doing, but we have a part to remind ourselves of his promises, to remind ourselves of his word. Without vision, we perish. So if you don't see the dream happening, then start declaring it to be. Start thanking God in advance for that dream. Start asking him what you can do in the preparation, in the waiting season, that will help bring it to pass in its fullness when it's time. So for me, and honestly, I didn't do this perfectly. It's something I look back and I wish I would have done better. I wish I would have stewarded better, but we all learn, we live and we learn. But for someone who's a songwriter, if I'm not seeing the dream come to pass yet, well, every day I can be songwriting. Every day I can be warming up my voice. Every day I can be reading a book about what it means to be a Christian who cultivates language for a believer to connect with the Lord. There's so much that we get to partner with God. And it's actually really wild, because I grew up Southern Baptist, and I always had this thought of the Lord of like, I can't miss the Lord's will. Like if I make the wrong choice, or am I going to miss it? Or am I going to miss my dream? Or am I going to miss my husband? Or I had this fear that if I made the wrong decision, I would miss God's will for my life. And because of that, I was scared of actually taking steps forward with my dreams, because I didn't want to take the wrong one. So for a long time, I was kind of just like paralyzed in a sense, and I wasn't doing anything. And actually, at one of the Jesus House parties that we were at, this man prophesied over me, and he said, the Lord has put the keys to your dreams in your hands. He said, the keys to your dreams are in your hands. Patience is a good thing, but you've almost been too patient to a flaw. It's time to run, and to run in fullness with the passions God has put in your heart. And I received that word. And honestly, literally a week after he gave me that word, I went to a songwriting night, just going for it, because why not? I prayed, I had peace, I went. kind of in reference to that word. And that's where all of these connections came into alignment with the vocal coach, with the producer, with my team. Everything came from that one night. And honestly, Theresa, when I went to that songwriting night, I had no expectations for the night. I'm someone who I'm really someone who has a lot of expectations for everything in life. I'm very like, okay, we need to do this and we could do this better and this needs to do this. I'm very just apostolic, I guess you could say, if you want. Kind of a big dreamer. And this night, literally, I walked into the night and the only two thoughts I had were, I hope I learned something about songwriting and I hope they have Chip Ahoy cookies. That was it. All I asked God for. And in that night is when my whole life changed. So maybe you don't feel it, but you need to continue to be faithful. You need to continue to show up because you never know. Even if the feelings aren't there, the motivation isn't there, it may be the night that the Lord changes your whole life.
Absolutely. I love it. And Chips Ahoy cookies can be a real game changer. I love it.
They
Hey,
work for me.
it's true. Ann Chow is sharing. Oh my gosh, I love it. She's saying, let me go on. This is David Pennington. I remember meeting Maddie at your house last May. That's right. It was at the house fire party. What a powerhouse. Not only does she have an amazing voice, but she is like a joy hurricane. He's
Oh,
prophesying over you. Nothing will stop this girl from breaking freedom in your nation and people's lives and in the world. Absolutely. He's from the UK. Great word. I love this. Guys, this is what it's
thank
all
you.
about. Carmen Rios is here. Jacqueline's here. Joanna Tolley is here. JC, Judy. Oh my gosh. This is from David Pennington. His timing is so perfect. Your patience is a testimony on its own. Oh, Sarah is here from Tennessee as well. Sarah, so glad
Ooh,
you're on. You guys,
yeehaw.
so fun. Are we having fun yet? You guys
Yes.
enjoying? Oh my gosh. Next question for you. How did you build faith inside when finances or other things happened where others didn't support you? So how did you build faith? I know Karen asked that question, but tell me about your road because it takes a lot of money to produce
Mhm.
a song. So share about that part of your story.
Yeah, I'm still in the midst of that story. So I'm still learning how to build faith in it because yeah, there's a huge budget and I don't have the finances for it. So what do? It's kind of like looking at your Goliath, but having faith to throw the first stone. And so honestly, it's just been taking the steps forward. Even when I don't know where the money's coming from or when it's going to come, we just take the next step forward. And the Lord has provided for every step along the way. And so I think when you see him providing, it builds that faith. But I will say you have to take the step to even see his provision to build the faith. And so, I mean, I'll just be honest with this because why not? When I went to when we went to record the song, I was in Tennessee. And even then, like the Lord provided exactly what I needed to record. But I like didn't even know if I was gonna have money for a hotel. To like, I literally thought to myself, I may sleep in my truck in a well-lit parking lot. And I will never tell my dad because he would go ballistic if he knew I did that. Like that's where I was because there wasn't enough money in the bank to do what I needed to do. And then honestly, in the midnight hour, the Lord provided for me to be able to stay in a
Come on.
hotel.
Yes.
But it's just, honestly, it's adventurous and it's wild and it's beautiful. And I think about that verse where it says, and I may butcher this, so give me some grace, but that verse where it says the Son of Man doesn't even know where he's going to lay his head at night. And I think sometimes when you're following the Lord, that means you're going to have to step out of comfort. That means that you're going to have to blindly follow what he's saying. And the only thing you can do is trust that he will provide. And I can say, yeah, and it could be scary, it can be uncomfortable, but if you're saying yes to the Lord, I believe where he calls, he provides. And I can truly, truly say, even if it was in the midnight hour, I've never seen him not provide for me.
Woo,
So,
come on.
yeah.
I totally 100% agree, guys. When you have a dream and God has given you this dream and you have prophetic words like what Madison talks about, you plunge forward and God will take care of you. Isn't that right, David? Isn't that right, Sarah Thornburg, and so many others out there? This is your time. Well, guys, we wanted to take some time and prophesy over you through music, through song. And so I feel like if you are hungry for a prophetic song, you've never had that before, put your name in the chat. We want to give you a prophetic song from Madison. This is going to be so fun. Let me make sure we might have another comment here too. This is what Sarah, she goes, I feel like my writing is happening. This is happening with my writing along with other creative arts adventures. Yeah, God says it's time, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's time.
The time is now.
So let's yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, and don't be fearful that you're going to miss it. My dad always says God can do way more with a car that's in drive, that's moving, that's taking turns and going down the road than one that's sitting in park. And honestly, I think the Lord, let's just say you submit your writing to a contest that maybe wasn't the God's best for you in that moment. Well, he's going to honor that faith, and he's going to, just like Theresa said, reroute you to where he's wanting you to go. And I think that's a huge thing with creatives is we have to let go of this fear thing. God is God, he is sovereign, and he's looking for those who will give him their art as an offering. And that looks like sometimes doing something with it and trusting that he'll meet you there.
Ooh, I have to say that that's so true. Trusting that he will lead you. Well, we have some people that would love a word, prophetic song, and the first person is JC Kennedy. So JC, this is a word that the Holy Spirit's going to give, and we're just going to ask Holy Spirit to bless you. I would record this word too. Just take a video as you record it, and you'll get it because you want to hear this. So go for it. This is JC.
Okay, this is new to me too.
Come on, come on.
Okay. All right, let me just pray for a second. JC, yeah, I feel like I'm going to speak and then I'll sing. I feel like the Lord is just saying that there's good things coming your way. I kind of hear Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future. And I just see this picture of almost like this gray house. Like it looks like it's just gray on the inside, and there's a 4-panel window. And I see the sun starting to shine in the left-hand corner. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's a circumstance you've been going through, a relationship, or if it's just been something no one knows about that you've been dealing with in your heart. But the Lord wants you to know that sunshine is coming, and that there are good things to look forward to. So I'll just put that into a song. It's getting lighter, lighter. The sun is shining, shining. 'Cause you don't have to fear what's on the other side. The morning. Your way. So keep your head up, don't hide. The Lord. The sun is coming out.
Ooh, come on. That's such a good word. You got to let us know what that means to you, JC. And
yes, please.
And Michelle Juicin wants a word. And when you go really strong, we can't hear you. So just keep your vocals back a little bit. But we heard most of it.
Okay, good.
You're great. Michelle Juicin. Michelle, we just released a word as she's preparing. We released a word for you, Michelle. I saw it's funny, but I saw this, like, it was a crossroad and you didn't know which way to go. You were in a crossroad and the Lord is showing you that he's for you in what you love. So I'm not sure what that means, but take that to heart. And then our dearest is going to sing.
Yeah, I felt like the Lord just wants to bless you with peace. And it may be in congruence with what Teresa is talking about with not knowing what way to take. It may be in a relationship, but I actually heard a song that has already been written, and I think it's called Peace. I don't know if that's the name of it, but I'm just going to sing it over you and just receive it. So it goes like this. Peace, bring it all to peace. The storm surrounding me, let it break. At your name still, all the seas are still, the rage in me is still, let it break. At your name, Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble, Jesus, Jesus, you silence fear, oh Jesus, Jesus, you make the darkness tremble, Jesus, Jesus. Peace.
Come on, that was beautiful. Woo! I just and I know I feel like right now, like Carmen, you are in a place, and Carmen is asking Carmen, Rios, Carmen, I feel like you're in a place where you are battling some sort of a depression or like a lack inside of you. Like somehow, like when you hear what's happening in Madison's life and Matthew's life, you get a little bit of, oh, but I'm way over here. I feel like you felt very distant, like almost like you were watching what's happening at a distance, but you weren't in the main what I would call the main event. And you had that your whole life. Like God is releasing you out of a place of feeling alone in the process of life, or even with your relationship with God, like more like, okay, well, some people have favor, but I've never had that before. And Carmen, God is releasing that on you. And when you hear this song, know like this is a word about a season change. It's not just something that you have to, sometimes it's like what happened to Madison. Sometimes it's just that one encounter at that one moment where everything changed. She found her producer, her vocal coach. It was just like one meeting, in the same way God has a suddenly moment for you. So Madison, go for it.
Yeah, can I add something to that really quickly?
Oh yeah, please.
Yeah, I will just add on top of what Teresa said. A lot of times I will tell people about what God is doing, just like we did today. And a lot of people actually have that response. I can feel almost that they're discouraged because they don't see it in their life. And I am quick to remind them that they may be seeing my promised land, but they did not see like the decade of desert that I walked through. And a lot of times we see the mountaintop of someone's life because that's what we post on social media. That's what we talk about. That's what we gleam about. But like people have no clue like the hell that I have had to walk through. And so be encouraged that just because people maybe don't share those parts of their story, there's a lot that I've walked through to be able to there's so much there. So please don't be encouraged and discouraged. And I actually saw a picture of a crow in a cage, like a crow in a cage. And I felt like it kind of went into what Teresa was saying of there have just been some storms that maybe you've weathered and some disappointment. But I don't know if you know of a singer called Rita Springer, but she's like the mother of worship, and I love her. And she just released an album called Fed by Ravens. Because a lot of times we think our promise is going to be an overnight miracle, but sometimes it's what the enemy sent to harm us that actually our promise is birthed out of. And so I want to encourage you that those things that have tried to steal your joy are going to be the exact things that God uses, fed by ravens, that God uses to propel you forward and to give you hope and joy. It's going to be those things that maybe were your burden that you're actually going to use to minister to other people, that you're going to carry an anointing in those places because of what you walk through that is going to be able to unlock freedom in other people's lives. So here we go. Fly, fly, darling, soar, soar on high, 'cause nothing can compare to what he'll do for you. So soar, my darling, it's time to fly. Soar, my darling, it's time to fly.
Woo, come on. That is so good. So fly, open up, see what God has for you. Put in my book, Created to Overcome too, because I talk about that in my book about Created to Overcome. It's right here, actually. This book, it's going to help you to learn to fly. I have a whole, in fact, I have a poem in here that I feel is called Caged. And it's for people that out there that have felt that way. It's because they're going to get set free. It says, pressure in the midst of trying to be perfect always ends up sabotaging my original self. And I end up curling and curving to conform instead of straightening my tenacity to stay focused on my true north. I learned early on that if I was busy, I wouldn't be noticed. I felt it was the system's need for more productivity that kept me on life's hamster wheel. But instead, I found out that it was my need to not appear weak or insecure that kept me going round and round and round, yet never going anywhere. No one had to tell me I was different or inferior when I was young. I knew it through the stares, fingers pointed in my direction when I walked past. And by the way, I hated recess with a passion, looking for a place where I could disappear. I was embarrassed I was me. Growing older, I realized the cage I'd built around my heart wasn't for my protection, but because deep down I thought they were right. I was like a bird trapped in other people's opinions, caged in with no way out. Yet wings have a purpose, no matter how far back they are clipped. So learn to fly, you heart of mine. Take risks and discover the you that's been hiding behind fear's cage and fly. And
Wow.
yeah, and I feel like you guys need to know it's time for you to fly. Like the song that Madison is birthing inside of her, it's because she knows that there's a call on America to awaken people out of slumber and into getting off of the sidelines. But it happened because she took rest, because she was working on her character, her heart, her the oppositions that she walked out. And now we get a song that's going to change people's lives in a couple months. I mean, this is crazy good. So I want you to impart your a blessing to people that are listening right now. So go for it, love. Go ahead and impart that and just be in the receive mode. God has so much for you.
Yeah, I would just, a blessing that I would love to just leave you with is there's nothing that is going to give you more clarity, more direction, and more confidence than being in his presence. And truly meeting with him. And that's something I'm learning in this whole process is I could never do this alone. It is so much bigger than anything I could ever do on my own strength or would ever want to do on my own. And I'm learning that the secret weapon is intimacy with the Father. And so if I could leave you with anything, it is an urgency to meet with him. I don't care if you're tired, and I'm preaching to myself as well. I don't care if we're tired, if we're busy. That is truly what everything is going to be birthed from. the dreams that you have, the dreams that you're waiting for, the keys, the blueprint, that's all going to be found in intimacy and closeness with the Lord. And in those moments with him, ask him what your unrealized dreams are. What has he spoken and planned over your life that you're not even aware of yet, because we haven't taken time to sit still and silence ourselves to hear what he is speaking and what he is saying. And secondly, we have to be in the word of God. Honestly, that's part of how this song got birthed. Is my friend, one of our team ladies on our team, she was like, Madison, out of all the biblical characters, who do you resonate with the most? And I said, well, I resonate with Esther because I feel like God has called me for such a time as this. And I really resonate with Stephen, the one who would run into the middle of the synagogue and be stoned because he was not afraid to stand up for the truth of who God is. And she literally, on the FaceTime, she said, you need to go write a song about that right now. And so we look for all this motivation and all of this encouragement and ideas and inspiration, whether it be on Pinterest or Instagram or what we see on TV. No, our inspiration and our motivation and our blueprint for what we are called to do here on this earth has to come from the Lord. It has to come from his word. And that's going to be the greatest inspiration and the greatest the greatest way to propel what God is doing in your life the quickest is to know who you are in Christ, to know who he's called you to be, to know who he is, and to trust him to take the first step forward.
Oh, come on. I love it. So guys, take that, share about this with others. We're so glad that you guys were on. I'll be sharing when that comes out, that song Sidelines. If they want to check you out, should they look at Instagram, who you are on Instagram?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So you can follow me on Instagram. Please do. It's just Maddie Ray Sunshine. So it's MADDIERAY and Sunshine. It should just come up if you put Maddie Ray. There will be a YouTube coming soon, and hopefully we'll have a music video for Sidelines as well. So lots of exciting things coming, and I'd love to have you guys as a part of that journey.
Yeah, we'd love to be a part of that too. Well, blessings, everybody. Remember, you are born to create. Don't stay on the sidelines. Get in the game. Get alone with Jesus. Seek his face. Thanks for joining, Maddie.